What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about ADA Cardano and the fact that the next move that we see from ADA will realistically have many implications on what we can expect from the price, in my opinion, over the next couple weeks, and honestly, possibly over the next couple months. Now, I know usually I am behind the camera, but many of you do know that I have an MMA fight coming up in about 4 days here. I am cutting weight. I'm not really feeling the best, feeling a little bit under the weather as I have about 9 pounds left to lose, but I am making progress and we're doing good. And if you do want to watch the fights this weekend, do go to b2fs.com, click details here. And of course, if you want to come to the fight, you can purchase your tickets here, or if you can purchase the pay-per-view, make sure you do put my name in there as it will give me credit and it does help me out a bit. So with that though, let's go ahead. Let's jump back to the crypto world, and let's talk about ADA Cardano. So looking at ADA Cardano, we are in a moment of consolidation that I generally will consider a very, very important moment. Now, the reason why I consider it to be so important is because it is the moment in which we are trying to backtest a key level of macro support, and a successful backtest of macro support will usually lead to strong exponential growth. What I mean by that is that, as we can see, over the last couple months, we have seen this point interacted with 2 times to create this very outlandish level of resistance that we were under. Although we had a key level of resistance around here, every time we would break out, we would come up to this red line, especially right here as we ran into resistance for the 3rd time. Well, what's interesting is that as we did break out of that key level of resistance, we came back and we did retest it, and at this point have successfully backtested it as support. Because remember, as we break key levels of resistance, this was resistance establishment right here, what we need to see is that when we flip it into support. The reason it is so important is because you have to consider inverse effects. Whenever we are below it, look at the strength that this level had in terms of pushing the price towards the downside. Well, consider that if this level can stay as relevant as it did back here, one could say that with a successful support establishment, the same level that pushed us straight down could push us straight back up. So now, considering the fact that we are seeing this successful backtest at this point, it comes down to getting past this key level of resistance at around $1.25. And if we're capable of doing so, it says, all right, we have successfully backtested this, we have broken out past the previous high, and we are now in a position to continue back towards the top side. So it is a very important moment at this point that we get back above 125 and we do not start to roll back below $1.13. If at this point we start to roll back below $1.13 and confirm this as a double top, we could be in a position to see the price start rolling all the way back down to these previous highs that we put in, maybe even into the month of May, in my opinion, if we follow this line all the way back towards $1, even between 95 cents towards $1. And of course, no one wants to see that. Or we could be in a position to start to go back below this level of resistance, deeming this to possibly be a fake out, which could, in terms, I don't think it's going to, but it could have an effect in which we do come back down to set the new macro low. Now, I think it is more likely that we would find some type of support around these levels, at least around 86 cents, and then bounce back up to retest this line, but I don't even want to play that game. I don't want to end up back below this red level of resistance, because we have seen historically what effect it can have on the price. So it is extremely important that at this point we do start to get back above $1.25, and I currently will be stopping all buying and all accumulating until we are capable of doing so. The reason being is you can see that point of neutrality in the market right now that says this thing could go either way, and we need to be very careful. You can see we are putting in the lower lows here on the RSI while putting in the higher lows, while at the same exact time seeing this bullish divergence. We are seeing the higher highs and the lower highs, which is bearish divergence. There's bullish divergence and bearish divergence in this one move itself. Not only that though, look at how we can see on our daily MACD, we are getting to a point in which over the next couple days / the next week and a half, if we are unable to get this move back above 125, we may get this bearish cross that leads to some, more of a bearish continuation towards the downside. And so, considering the fact that we are in a position in which could see a breakout in either direction extremely fast, I am being extremely careful right now, because although this moment is extremely important, it is also extremely risky to be purchasing while we are under this key level of rejection of $1.25. Now, the reason I am so excited and confident about this level, and I think that there is potential here, is because we cannot ignore the macro things going on with ADA. Not only is its entire ecosystem growing, we can also see its total value locked is growing. We can see all of these different dApps starting to come alive, contributing to excitement around ADA, as well as the fact that on the long-term timeframes, we are still seeing extreme bullishness. To put one thing into perspective, you can see this low that we put back in 2020 to where we are now, extreme higher low, clearly. But on our RSI, we have set that lower low. That is an extreme case of bullish divergence. Not only that though, we did just recently get this bullish MACD cross, which doesn't happen very often, and historically speaking, when it does happen, we will see some pretty extreme growth. And so considering the fact that we do have all of these bullish things going on in the long term, I am still very confident in the future of ADA. But in the short term, we have to be careful, because if this rejection happens at 125 and we're unable to clear it, we very possibly can push back down towards these levels, towards this previous level of resistance. And then at that point, we have a new battle of trying to get back above these levels. So right now, what I'm waiting for is, do we get above 125 and hold it? If we get back above 125 and hold it, I will be purchasing, because I do expect at that point that we can see some pretty strong growth. Looking at this thing from Fibonacci retracement perspectives, you can see that this rejection is happening at the key and most important 0.618 to 0.786 level. So I think getting back above 125 does put us in a position to retest the 786 at 140, or even possibly this previous high up towards 168, which could look like gains of anywhere between 11 to even up to 30%. Of course, I would want to take on a gain of that nature any way I can, and so that is my game plan right now. So right now, at that point, I will be buying if we are able to hold above 125 with the stop loss set below 114, as I think that even if we came up here, if we lose this low right here at any given point, we will continue towards the downside. So with that said, that's my game plan, and that is the way in which I am going about it. And the first ones to know about this whenever I do it will always be the Patreon members, of course. So if you do want to be updated as soon as I trade, as soon as I buy, and as soon as I sell, go down to the link in the description and go check out the Patreon. But if not, I will update you guys on the YouTube channel as soon as possible whenever I do make a video. So if you don't want to miss that, you can also make sure you just simply subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications when you do subscribe. But with that said, that is going to be about it for today's video, and I hope you found it valuable. If you did, you can always let me know simply by smashing that like button, and I will see you all next time. Peace.